Hello there. We're going to do a couple examples of direct versus inverse variation. Now remember, we're looking for things of this structure, y equals k x to the r. That's our power rule structure. And if we can get it right to that structure, then we can jump straight to the sentence. But just to double check, I'm going to go through the tables and look at the underlying structure that we're going to see in the tables. So we're going to do these first two here, and I'm going to preset those tables. Okay, so the tables are set up for us, so let's fill in the note. We'll start at 0. We will start at 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the y's here, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. This one starts at 10, and it's going down 9, 8, 7, 6. Next, we're going to look at the quotients between them, because I believe that these are direct, since the little power up here is 1, this one's going up over time, and this one, while it is going down, x, we're not dividing by x, we don't have 1 over x, we don't have a little negative x up there, so I'm going to test that one for being direct too. I'll set up the quotients. Okay, I'm testing the quotient y divided by x. Start over here. Y is 0 divided by 0. That is undefined. But next I got y is 5 divided by x is 1 is 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 15 over 3 is 5. And 20 over 4 is 5. On the other side, 10 divided by 0, that's undefined. 9 divided by 1 is 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 7 divided by 3 is 2 1/3, and 6 over 4 is 1 1/2. So, what do we see from these? On the left, those numbers are the same, and on the right, they are changing. All my numbers over here, those proportions, those ratios of y to x are all 5s, whereas on the right-hand side, these are changing each and every time. Y to x is getting us a different proportion each time. There's no constant of proportionality like there is on this side. So now we're going to write our sentences. And boom, there's my sentence, all typed out. We're going to say it y, always starting with y. Y is directly proportional to x. And here's our phrase with constant of proportionality 5. There's that 5, the glue that holds everything together. The ratio of y to x is always 5. That's our constant of proportionality. On this side, there was no constant of proportionality. There is no constant of proportionality. So this is not direct, and it's also not going to be inverse either. Not inverse either. Okay, let's scroll down and look at a couple that appear that they might be inverse because they're decreasing at a decreasing rate. Okay, there are my two graphs, 360 times 1/2 to the x and 360 over x. I'm going to preset up the tables. Okay, so those are our tables. Let's start filling this out. Start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I am... Okay, so I got those through 4. 360, if that's a 0 up there, makes the whole thing 1, so it starts at 360. And then I take half of that, 180, half of that, 90. 45 and 22.5. And over here, this one is going to be undefined. And it'll start at 360. 360 over 2 is 180. 360 over 3 is 60. 360 over 4 is 90, that 90-degree angle. Next, let's look at proportions. Yeah. Okay, for this test, I'm going to be looking at the product of x and y, because I already know that the quotient, if I take y and divide by x, that's going to be different each time. 180, 90 over 2 is 45, 45 over 3 is 15, it's going to be different. And same thing over here. So that tells me that the quotient is not lining up to be a constant, so I know that they're not direct. And the only option, because it's decreasing at a decreasing rate, is that it's going to be inverse. So let's test the product, x times y. 0 times 360 is 0. That's going to be 180, 180, ooh, a couple 180s, and then we got this 135 and over here 90. So this one is flat out. Now, when we get to this next one, 0 times something undefined, still don't know what that is. 360, 360, 3 times 60 is, wait a second, that's not 60, that's going to be 120 in there, 120. Okay, so that's 360, and this one over here is going to be 360. So there we do have a constant throughout. Conclusions. This one's changing over time. This is not inverse. It's also not direct. It failed to have that constant proportionality. No constant proportionality. This one over here does have that constant proportionality, 360. And then we'll write up our sentence about that. Voila. Y is inversely proportional to x, and we got that constant of proportionality 360 as we've shown before. Alright, let's zoom out of all of this. There we go, and as you can see we have these number of tests, and of course we could go much faster in the future when we zip through this stuff, because we can say that one that is linear up there, 5x, it has a y-intercept of 0, so it's going to be direct, constant of proportionality 5. This one's linear, y-intercept at 10, that throws it all off, it's not going to be direct, can't be inverse either. Over here, x is in the wrong spot, it's exponential decay, not inverse, and this one, if I'm going to write a power rule for that, that could be y equals 360 x to the negative first, and that tells me that x is inversely proportional to y is inversely proportional to x, constant of proportionality 360.
Rodney Mosetti, please dial 0.
Oh, character and scholarship for life.